All right, hello students. Good afternoon. It is exactly 4:35 p.m. on my clock. That means we have to start our class for this afternoon. So before we start our class, no, let us have a prayer, no? So who would like to lead the prayer? Kinsa gusto mag-lead sa prayer nato? Anyone? Yes? Volunteer? Okay, let's have student Vince Carl Puro. Hello, Mr. Vince. Good afternoon, Mr. Vince.
Hapon, ma'am.
Yes, mayong hapon. Sige, Mr. Vince, can you please lead the prayer po?
Yes, ma'am, yes, ma'am.
Sige, go ahead.
In the name of Father, and the Son, and the Spirit, Amen. Lord, salamat sa grasyang yatag na masamuo niya, Lord. Karong klase ni ma'am, naghaming matunan. Ngamit namin sa mabutay na mga exams. Lord, grasyang nagkatagang mga lesson karon kay tagal hindi naging matunan, Lord. Kita namin salamatan ng Diyos namin ginawa.
All right, amen. Thank you very much, student Vince, no? So, hello students, good afternoon and welcome back to our classes. It's Creed 324, Fire Technology and Arson Investigation, and this is Miss Malaya teaching. So, good afternoon everyone. Kumusta kayong lahat? How are you? How are you? How was your long weekend?
Kira, ma'am.
Okay lang, no?
Ka-relax.
Relax kamay. Okay, very good. So, kindly send hearts sa ating in-call messages if everybody is ready to listen to our lesson for this afternoon. Sige daw. Very good. Only one? How about the others? Sige, very good everybody. Okay, thank you very much po sa inyong feedback, no? So, it's okay, Student Vince, no? Okay ra jud kayo na siya, no? Very nice prayer. Okay, sige. Thank you very much everybody for your feedback. So, without further ado, let me share my first slide for this afternoon. We have two topics to be discussed for this afternoon kasi nga we were not able to have our lesson no last Friday kasi nga it was a holiday. So, karon let's have two discussions kasi nakaskip tawag isa ka day no at nakaklase. So, bawi ta kasi this week no will be your third examinations and that would be ngayong Friday. Okay? Sige. So we will discuss the week 6 to 7 and this will be the part 3 and later on if may time tayo we will start discussing the part 4. Sige. Now, we have here what we call as the miscellaneous hazards. So, these are the hazards no that can be found everywhere, no? So, we have here the parks, no? So, live off parks from chimneys, refuse burners, stacks, and other similar sources must be given priority considerations. During periods of low humidity and high wind velocity, special attention or precautions must be taken into those areas where fire risk is possible or negligible. No? So, usually, if kani siya nga mga lugar or places no na ay mga hazards nga if ever di nato siya mabantayan, there are some risks nga mahimo siya fire or there will be a fire, possible fire, no? So, one of which is sparks. Okay, sparks. Okay. We also have here the number 2, which we know as the mechanical devices. No, any engines of any types. No, which friction is created. No, could be a possible source of a fire. No, we sometimes we use these mechanical things or devices. No, nga basig mag-overheat, and then some one good example of this no are machines. No, usually ginagamit nato. So we also have here the acids and other chemicals, no? All kinds of strong acids such as nitric, sulfuric, and hydrochloric, although they are not themselves flammable or supporters of combustion. So we also have here the coal tar derivatives. No, the coal tar derivatives in both crude and refined forms are being used quite extensively. Like dyes, medicines, and explosives are manufactured from these coal tar products. We also have here number 5, no, the effects of the sun. So usually, sun is responsible for fires, though it's assisted with man-made implements, no. But forest fires no have been known no and very frequently well known no as one of those na nagsisimula kasi nga because of the heat, the temperature of the sun. So some of it no, the causes of forest fires may be the glasses that are left by careless campers no kasi nga if ang glass matutok na siya sa sun, then it will create a fire no, 'di ba sa experiment ninyo katong high school pa mo tsaka elementary unsa ginagamit? Magnifying glass. Pwede pod magamit,
Glass.
yes, ang normal nga glasses or it could also be kanang mga samin nga literal nga ginatawag na to nga
Lente,
mirror.
ma'am.
Yes, pwede na siya. As a matter of fact, no, kanang kung mainitan siya, ang mga glasses or kaning mga mirrors, and then mo reflect ang sun din niya, it would create some fire, no? Kay shiny man na siya, no? So, it can ignite dried leaves. Siyempre, labi na kung ang lugar kay init kaayo and then ang forest kay uga ang mga dahon, no? Tapos wala yung rain. So, siyempre, that can be a fuel for fire. So, we have here what we call as the pre-fire plan. It's a process in an advanced and organized planning of possible firefighting operations in particular building or groups of buildings. So, 'di ba? On maybe that was the week 4 to 5 natin na lesson or week 1 to 3 that we discuss no what is good fire planning no. So pre-fire plan wala pang um uh, nangyayaring fire, mayroon na tayong plano. If in case there will be a fire in that specific or particular buildings or locations or kung saan ba yan siya. Okay? So, fire departments are organized to protect lives, those properties from fire within the areas they serve, no? So, common sense dictates that firefighters, particularly the senior firefighter officer, should have to analyze the problems encountered intelligently to perform an efficient and effective job. So, nangunguna sa ating pagpaplano niyan ay ang ating mga fire department heads, no? Sila yung leader natin dyan. Kasi nga, pag walang pre-fire plan ng ating mga fire departments, no, or ating mga heads dyan sa ating BFP or sa Bureau of Fire natin, no, wala tayong uh, mabisang solusyon on how to suppress those fires na nag-occur. Okay? So, fire defenses should be organized to prevent as many fires as possible from occurring. But at the same time, to be prepared to combat in an organized way those that cannot be prevented. So, if meron na tayong plano and then there's a fire na hindi talaga natin maiiwasan, meron tayong saktong ways. Kasi nga organized tayo and then what it means that meron tayong steps on how to follow. Kasi nga, kapag may fire, tapos wala kayong training, at saka wala kayong pre-fire plan, anong gagawin nyo? Okay, kinsay magunit sa hose, kinsay magpa-bumba sa tubig, kinsay magpa-ring sa fire alarm. No? Those basic tools or machineries to be followed no, during a fire no, should be executed properly. So, kinakailangan, meron tayong plano para if ever di talaga maiwasan na may sunog, then we are prepared. Okay? So, purpose and requirements of pre-fire plans. So, plans are prepared to explain procedures and geographically important information required during fire suppression operations. Okay? Building, pre-fire plans are carried on the assistant fire chief's vehicle and each first run pumper to fire engine. So, 'di ba? Ang ato ang building kapag before ta magtukod naagid tay mga building plans, no? So kato na discuss na to last time. So we need to have those copies kasi in case na masunog yun siya nga specific building, alam natin ang entrance, alam natin ang exit, alam natin yung possible na fire exit, emergency exit, ilang windows ba, ilang doors ba ang meron ang building na yan, no? So, we will be having a good way of suppressing the fire kasi we are on edge na atay kahibalo sa building or katong group of buildings na basig for example masunog. Okay? So aircraft pre-fire plans are carried on each fire chief's and assistant fire chief's vehicle. So copies of each pre-fire plan, building and aircraft are maintained in the fire alarm communication center. The first thing to be considered in any pre-fire planning is the specific risk that might be involved for each physical situation, such as, okay, di ba, hindi lang naman yung mga buildings natin ang nasusunog, pwede din yung mga sasakyang panghimpapawid or panghimpapawid. Okay. Now, so some of the purposes, no, the streets, roads, and alleys between the first station and the scene of the fire. So, syempre, kinakailangan, alam mo yung eksaktong lugar. No? You must try to see kung saan yung mga lugar na hindi congested na pwedeng madaanan ng fire truck. Kasi nga, yung fire truck natin is a very huge vehicle, no? Kasi nga, nagdadala siya ng tubig as one suppressing tool, no, yung ating water. So kailangan asa man ka magbitbit or asa man ka magkuha og imong ibomba kung walay tubig imong sakyanan nga fire truck, di ba? So location of the water supply and the volume and pressure available. So since it's a building, okay, for example, no, maybe there are fire hydrants along the area. So you should be know or knowledgeable on locating those fire hydrants. No, kabalo naman mo sa fire hydrants. No, emergency na siya nga tubig nga pwede magamiton with high pressure. Okay? And we also, for example, in aircrafts, no, meron din yan sila mga emergency na mga water tanks or fire hydrants around the area na pwedeng magamit. So, exposure is also be given consideration. So, alam naman natin kung ano ang exposure, di ba? So, we also have here to recognize the specific problems involved in a fire, of course, in a given building. So, kinakailangan malaman natin kung saan nagsimula ang sunog, okay? If what type of building is that, no? Ano yun na building? Is it a commercial building? Is it a house? Or is it a church, a school, or anything, no? Baka ano yan siya? It's a building, no, which operates, no, plantations, no, yung mga pagawaan natin. The questions of availability of equipment, no, kung sakto ba or insakto ba yung ating mga kagamitan for firefighting, and the availability of manpower. So, kinakailangan sapat yung manpower natin. Kasi nga, sama ng na-example ko last time, no, I have always telling you this, no, how can you suppress a fire in a building as big as Gmall if you only have 2 firefighters that are available? Okay? So, anong mangyayari? Kailangan i-allocate yan ng mabuti ng ating fire department head so that he or she will be able to designate or allocate his or her manpower if there's a fire, no? Correctly. Okay? So, when you try to suppress a building, no, for example, as big as Gmall, you need a lot of manpower. So how will you do that? No, you need to hire firefighters. No, so if it's just a small fire, no, you can allocate 2 to 3 firefighters on the scene. But if it's a big fire, no, you need to allocate more than 5 or 10 firefighters so that it will be suppressed as much quickly as much as possible. Okay? So, we have here, no, on a basic information contained in a free or in a pre-fire plan. So, ano yung mga impormasyon na nakapaloob doon sa ating pre-fire plan? So, data on life hazards in each building, including where people sleep, the location of doors, windows, stairways, and fire escapes, and outline of the most logical means of rescue. So, ito yung sinabi ko sa inyo, yung pre-fire plan, magbabase yan siya sa paggawa pa lang ng building. Kasi nga, hindi yan i-approve ni BFP na bigyan kayo ng certificate to operate unless wala silang makakita na mga fire exits, windows, doors, ilang bintana ba yan, saan pwedeng makalabas in case of fire, no? In case of those mga sakuna. Okay? So, yun ang kinakailangan gawin ng isang building na ibibigay ni fire, na ibibigay kay fire department. So, si fire department naman, ikikip yung na mga copies, no, on each building kasi kapag may sunog, mas madali silang makaka-responde kasi alam nila yung mga pasukan, yung labasan, no, emergency exits, no. So you also have your information on interior and exterior exposures and how best to protect them, high value storage, the placement of fire streams, and similar factors. The instant involved should be indicated. So kailangan din doon sa ating pre-fire plan, no? Alam natin yung what is the building made of? Is it made of purely wood? Is it a combination of a wood and cement, or is it purely a metal and cement? No, is it made to be a fire resistant building? Is it a fireproof building? No, no, yung mga basic na uh, construction ng building should be known to the firefighters, no? Kasi nga kinakailangan if your building is only 1 hour fire resistant, so pagdating ni firefighter, wala na natira sa building mo. Ugdaw jud na tanan. So, na kailangan alam lahat niyan ni fire department. So, that's one of their jobs, no? We also have your consideration of special building or facility hazards, such as the location of flammable stores, hazardous operations, and the area most likely to be the origin of fire. So, we also have here the location of hydrants or other water sources, indicating the amount of water available and pressure, also the necessary length of flooders and their proper placement to reach the required area. So, kailangan, no, alam natin if that specific building, no, usually, yung mga building na may mga hazards for hazards are those building with restaurants ang occupants, no, restaurants na mga buildings, or usually kanang mga food stalls, no, kanang mga mamaligya o mga pagkaon. Kay syempre there is what we call as kanang cooking na ginagawa. So when we try to cook, we heat up things, no, we use fire to cook, no. So usually those one, and also mga mechanical nga mga gamit, okay, or nagagamit og mga mechanical nga mga things or tools, no, usually mag-start yun ang fire ana, diba, kagaya ng nasabi kanina, no, through friction magsisimula ang fire. So we also have here, we need to locate the hydrants, no, and other water sources. Kailangan if we respond to those specific buildings, alam natin na may fire hydrant na pwede nating magamit if sakali na maubos yung tubig sa ating fire truck. Kasi nga, yung tubig natin sa fire truck is limited. Yung sa fire hydrant, it's unlimited. Kasi nga, that is connected directly to the water source. No, dili na siya mahurot. Okay? Dayon. Okay? So, let's proceed. The best approach to the buildings, apparatus that will respond most advantageous hose laying procedures and placement of streams, the cutting of utilities, including electric power and gas supply, indicating how and by whom it is to be done. So, kinakailangan i-allocate mo yung tao mo o ikaw Limuel, ikaw yung maglalabas ng hose. O sige, si Rodrigo naman, ikaw yung kukuha ng ating ikaw mag-o-open ng ating fire hydrant if meron. O sige, si Kenneth, kailangan tawagan mo yung Daneco para ipa-off mo na ang source ng electricity dito sa specific na lugar. Okay? So, those, no, kailangan i-assign mo yan sa tao mo kasi nga, dapat nilang malaman kung ano ang duty nila. Kay magkarakara mo, uy, huy, nga naman man mo gipaandar tong tubig dito, Algreen. O ingon, si ba, ikaw may naka-assign ani RJ, kinsa din mag-assign ani mo palong aning kurente din ni kinsa din nagpatawag dito. Okay? Dapat walang mangyari na ganyan during fire operation. Kasi nga, very, very, very important yung minute na nandiyan tayo to respond to suppress the fire. No? Kasi nga, dali na kayo na muugdo ang kalayo. So, kinakailangan, naka-assign na mo tanan ana nga duty. Hala nga nung wala man gipaandar giparing ang bell ni Shandel. Na day sunog. Okay, hala. Nga nung wala man gitubag ni Leonard ang nanawag sa telephone, nga naman day sunog. Okay? So silang lahat naka-pre-assigned yan sila sa kanyang duty. Hala, nabili ni Bonifacio ang hose, unsaon na ni Ron. Okay? Nagigets nyo ba ang point na kailangan they are being assigned to a specific duty na kinakailangan nilang gawin. Para pag-abot unya sa sunog, simba ko palayo, they know what to do. So the effect of the seasonal changes on the accessibility to a building and the response time. So, syempre, if that building is very far away from the station of the fire department, no, kinakailangan alam natin yung shortcuts, alam natin kung ano yung daloy ng trapiko para mas madali tayong makalusot at makapunta doon to suppress the fire. Installed fire protection or detection system, including locations and procedures for connecting pumpers to installed extinguishing systems. If ever yung building natin was installed or pre-installed with um, some fire hydrants or maybe fire extinguishing materials, no? So, kinakailangan alam natin kung saan nakalocate yung fire detector, fire alarm, okay? Yung sprinkler natin, no? I believe na-discuss na to ninyo, no? So, you need to be informative or to be informed of that fact, no? Kasi nga, mas madali nyong ma-ooperate or masosopress at saka mapapadali ang trabaho ninyo if you know those basic facts around the building, no? Na nasusunog. Okay, eto naman, we have here the types of pre-fire planning, no? We have the aircraft pre-fire planning. So, there are a few areas in the fire protection that demand more effort than the aircraft pre-fire planning. However, the formulation of plans for this particular fire protection is very complex and uh, involved. So, aircraft pre-fire planning is not that simple. So, aircraft incident planning is possibly even more important because of the vast number of possibilities and complex situations. So, syempre, if ever na masusunog yung airplane, kasi nga, pinalipad mo yan, pabalik-balik, tapos malalayo ang kanyang lipad. And that specific aircraft, may gasoline yan, naanay tubil. So, what is gasoline? It is a flammable liquid. So, it could be possible na it would start a fire. No? To if that aircraft will be on fire, so there's a big possibility that it will explode. Mubuto jud na. Kay daghan kay nag mga electrical connections inside that airplane. And also, no, dako siya nga aircraft or dako siya nga natawag na to nga sakyanan. So, we have very important factors involved in this planning. We have the location, mission, climate, and terrain. So, factors common to most crash situations, no, the aircraft, the equipment, and personnel. So, aircraft, hours of planning may save only second or two in reaching the scene of the crash. Weeks of planning may save only a minute in controlling a blaze or removing a victim. But in fire protection, time is very important or precious. Now, so when you try to plan no a pre-fire planning, no, aircraft pre-fire planning, kapag nasunog yung aircraft, kanang plano ninyo nga gibuhat good ah gimugna ninyo for almost a month, almost a year para lang gid ma-successful siya if naay sunog sa sasakyang panghimpapawid. It would take only a snap of a finger para mabuto na siya. So, kinakailangan, if naay masunog ng aircraft, grabe inyong pag-respond. Swift and correct, no? So, syempre, it's a split second may save a life. So, knowledge of the aircraft may enable a firefighter to save time, thus protecting the most important thing, that is the human life. If ever na ay matrap sa sulod no sa aircraft, kabalo mo dapat unsa ang ang asa ang pwede nato nga abrihan no sa as means as exit sa ating aircraft, no? Dapat kabalo mo sa blueprint sa aircraft, kabalo mo as ang exit, asa ang pwede abrihan nga door kasi nga kapag magka-fire, magmalfunction na gid na ang iyahang system sa aircraft. So kinakailangan kabalo mo unsa dapat ang pamisliton ba dito or if there are emergencies jud na di jud makaya og open ang aircraft, you have the tools to katong mga cutter, spreader, no? So that you'll be able to open the aircraft in no time and you save those lives, no, inside those aircrafts. So, pre-disaster planning, no, we have here training and evaluating fire protection personnel is at most important. In addition, it is the responsibility of the supervisor, subordinate personnel. So, we do not hire firefighters if they do not know the basics on how to fight a fire. Kaya nga may training tayo, di ba? Professionalization Act natin, no? So, kinakailangan iti-train natin sila so that they'll be able to handle those things, no, or the fire, no, if nanagina ang sunog diha. Dili kay hala, nasunog lang yun sa paggamit sa fire extinguisher, unsaon paggamit sa hose, unsaon pagtawad aning nozzle, no? So, kinakailangan alam nila yun lahat. So, we have here the classification of disasters. We have the domestic disasters. This type of disaster includes all emergencies which the general public and civil emergency crews can handle. So, usually, no, if there are domestic disasters or locally speaking, no, if na mga mahitabo ng mga uh, disasters or kanang mga crisis or emergencies, no, meron tayong kaalaman, the public itself na atay kahibalo nga ah, pang first aid, kumbaga na kahibalo. So, we'll be able to handle that one. No? For example, the usage of fire extinguisher, no? Ang katawhan or ang community, kabalo sila magamit ng fire extinguisher if gituduan sila sa kung asa man sila dapit nga na hire nga establishment or asa man sila hired. Okay? So, usually gyud if na-fire, no? If madala pa og fire extinguisher, maningkamot gud ga fire extinguisher atong gamiton nato ang fire extinguisher so that di mo dako ang kalayo. And then tawag din tag firefighter. Nganong nagsugod ang sunog, syempre mag-investigate naman na sila, no? Si arson investigator, no? So, let's have the ending of our first presentation. And this is the end of K324 Fire Technology and Arson Investigation Part 3. Now, for this moment, we will discuss another one, which is the another discussion for the grade 3 to 4, but this is the part 4, no, for the week 6 to 7. So, this is also a short discussion, no? So, let's proceed. Is everybody still with me? Dito pa ba kayong lahat? Kaya pa ba?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
po, ma'am.
Okay, sige, very good. Okay, so I'll proceed na po. Sige. We have here the classification of disasters, no? Yung mga natalakay natin kanina. So, we have here types of domestic disaster, no? We have explosions involving large areas, floods, earthquakes, hurricanes, or typhoons, and tornadoes. So, di ba sabi ko sa inyo, not all firefighters will just suppress fire. Okay? They have these extracurricular duties, no, that's incorporated to them as a firefighter, no, to respond on emergencies, no, makita ninyo lang ano na may BFP diri nga kuan man ni kining baha, o hala ano na may BFP diri nga kuan man ni kining linog, so that's one of their duties, no, a part of their duty. Now we have here the military disaster. So yung di ba na-discuss natin last time that these military installations could be a possible target, pwede maging target kasi nga yung mga kalaban natin, like NPA or ISIS or terrorists, no? They're very, very wanting or they wanted to disturb the 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 atmosphere, no? Gusto nila magsinamok, gusto nila maghugaw-hugaw sa ato ang community. So what they do is if na mamatay yung isa sa ilang kauban, or maybe let's cite the NPA because they are the most common enemy of the country right now, no, NPA. So gusto sila manimalos. So what will they do is they want to uh, cause a fire inside military installations, no? Kuta sa mga military. So, kinakailangan, no, magkakaroon tayo ng pre-fire planning din sa ating military installations or sa kampo. Kasi nga, wala ta kabalo, ug basig na na yung mga NPA din ha, nga nagtanong og bomba, nagtanong ba din ha sila ron og mga unsa-unsa ba, basig itsahan na mo bomba din ha, okay? So, these are prime targets, no? So, usually gyud kinakailangan atuaning tagaan o pagpagad ni ato ang mga military installations kay they're the one who's protecting us externally para walay makasulod nga kalaban, and our external nga mga kalaban is one of which kay ang mga NPA kasi nga naa sila sa bukid, no, and the bukid or the mountains are the extremities of the Philippine archipelago. Okay, so it should be very important nga ato ani siyang tan-awon. So, fire department responsibilities in times of disaster. So, letter A, no, kinakailangan we must survive. The BFP or the firefighter should survive so that they can help others, no, to survive then. No? What if wala atong mamatay atong mga firefighters? So, anong gagawin ng mga in need na people, no? Or kinakailangan ng tulong ng mga tao? Letter B naman, to do everything possible to restore normal functions and operations. So usually, before some of the disasters have surpassed the area or the locality, all the buildings should be checked by the BFP if okay pa ba ang electrical connections, is it good for its functionality, okay? And letter C naman, to furnish aid and support to neighboring communities and installations. If ever need ng pagtingin ng mga BFP, ang specific na building into neighboring communities or municipalities na walang BFP nearby, no, they will extend their duty there. Okay? So we have here the natural cover fire, pre-fire planning. So natural cover fires or forest fires, like each of the other types of fires, present some unusual problems to the firefighter. Okay, so the huge and tremendous areas involved in a number of men needed to combat this type of fire makes it impossible to develop completely an adequate free or a pre-fire plans. Limited water supplies require special tactics and equipment. So we're lucky in the Philippines because we do not usually experience this what we call as natural fires or the forest fires, no. But on the other side of the world, they're very unlucky kasi nga they really experience extreme type of heat, and that extreme type of heat will cause to burn those dried leaves or their forest, and that would create a huge fire. So I have watched a movie, no, that was gipakita mi atong ang ilang duty is to protect the forest, and ang ilahang ginatan-aw jud, they are living in a high tower, no, taas kay nga tore. And during summer lang pud sila naga-duty. I forgot the title, but I'll just tell the story, no. So ang ginabuhat nila, nagid sila nagabantay sa tore, taas kay nga tore, para i-overlook 360 degrees, as in turn around ang katong forest. Kay usually yun na ma-occur nga forest fire, no, kay kato siya nga season sa ilahang climate is very kanang maximum ang heat, no, init jud kaayo nga pila ka degrees nga maka-start sa fire. So what happened, no, if naay sunog nga or nag-aso lang gamay nga makita sa katong nasa tore, ang ginagawa niya, ginatawag din niya ang mga firefighters around the area para isuppress dayon to. And then kanang mas dali nila makita because they're in a high place. So on fires like that, no, on other countries, they really plan for that. They allocate people, they allocate manpower to do the job properly, and they have those very amazing equipments, no, to be used in case if there is a forest fire. Kasi ang forest fire, dili na siya mapalong dayon kung wala kay sakto nga mga ekwipo. So I've known, no, kabalo ko nakakita mo sa Facebook nga katong nag-forest fire sa some localities, no, in America man siguro to kung asa to siya nga lugar, but it was a western country, no, nga ang helicopter nanguha na siya og tubig sa swimming pool sa katong neighboring na houses inside the forest. Kay syempre mga Amerikano, mga dato kay na or mga foreigner dato kay na magtukod jud nagbalay sa mga bukid-bukid, no. So what they did, kay out of water man gid sila, no, layo kaayo syempre nagud sa forest, so gigamit nila ang water sa pool to suppress the fire, no. So kinakailangan, no, kasi yung forest natin is a very wide range na hectare, no. So kanang fire dali ra kay na siya mulukop, labi na kung sa bukid-bukid na siya kung forest fire, no. Kasi syempre dikit-dikit ko ng mga dahon-dahon din ha, and usually if they want to stop the forest fire, no, they'll just do some techniques, no, na sila yung mga techniques, kumbaga sugato nila ang sunog. If nasunog diri ang left side, okay, so padulong siya diri sa right side, di ba? They'll create diggings or line nga ginabutangan nila og kanang linya, and then start nila ang sunog para mo ang ginabuhat nila para musugat siya sa sunog, and then it will stop. Okay? So ingon ana siya sa katong nakita nako. Okay? So usually that's what they are doing, no? So you can try to search on the web or in the internet, you can surf, no, and try to see on how they will suppress those fires, no? So they need to have a concrete plan for this one. Size up naman, the most important consideration in fighting a natural cover fire is to choose the proper point from which to begin the attack. No, yun yung sinabi ko na ipasugat nila ang kalayo or ang sunog para di na siya mo padayon. The selection of this starting point must not be made haphazardly or dili siya pa uh, pa pa kuan ginatawag na to nga pa mugna-mugna lang. Okay? Or pakalit-kalit. It must be based upon a careful analysis of the present and future conditions of the fire as determined by the fuel conditions, weather conditions, and the terrain. Ibig sabihin ng terrain, if it is located no sa bundok ba, sa kapatagan ba, or is it kanang upper hills no or mountains no ana. So, steps in size up of a natural cover fire or katong forest fire. So, see if there are any natural barriers nearby to stop the fire such as, yes, this is correct, streams, roads, flowed fields, burned out areas. No? So, that could stop a natural fire from uh, going to another place no para sunugon niya. Kasi nga, sinabi ko sa inyo, pag wala tayong fuel, hindi na yan mag-burn or hindi yan magpadayon masunog. Okay? So we have here, locate the hot spots where the fire is burning most intensely and estimate when and where it may jump or throw sparks into a new supply of fuel. So, kinakailangan, no, yung locality ninyo, you should be familiar with it. Kinakailangan yung mga firefighters na na-assign doon if na ay forest fire, no, sa ilang jurisdiction, alam nila ang terrain doon. Kabalo sila, kaila sila sa lugar, no? So that they'll be able to know where could be the possible fire start, no? And let's number 6 naman, set up personal evacuation procedures. So, on the on the place where natural fires occur, usually no kinakailangan mag-set up tayo din ng mini terrace no so that if there are persons na na-injured during firefighting no we need to evacuate them properly or as much as possible safe sila no. So attack naman, the aim of initial attack is to stop the spread of the fire as quickly as possible. Kaya sinabi ko sa inyo na katong ipasugat ang duha ka kalayo no nag-create mo boundary and then nagsugod mo og pasunog sa fire pa padulong or pasugat sa katong original nga sunog para dili na mapadayon ang sunog kasi nga naubos na ang inyong fuel at saka na nag-create kayo ng boundary. So if there are numerous spot fires ahead of the main blaze which may take off, they will need the first attention. Otherwise, as a general rule, the attack should begin at the point or points where the fire is spreading or will spread most rapidly under severe conditions. So usually some of them no they will just try to um, burn kung asa dapit kung pwede to mag-start og attack no dili pud ingon nga duol na kaysa sa original nga sunog but naay mga somewhat meters nga dira sila magsugod og buhat sa ilahang attack or initial attack so that they can stop the spread of the fire. So mo na ang main goal sa atong attack is to stop the spreading of the fire no nga forest fire. So natural cover fires naman involves grass, weeds, grain, brush or bush, forest or any other plant life. No, usually good if natay mga forest fires no, usually mo ang mga involved no, ng mga dahon-dahon. Forest fires are the most dangerous of all natural cover fires from the standpoint of a national problem. It involves more than immediate monetary loss. This is significant compared with the effect on the future water supply and timber supply with the loss of hunting, fishing, and recreational facilities. So, syempre, if natural fire, mag-occur mo siya sa mga forest, sa mga kabukiran, syempre, ining masunog ng mga kahoy, yun sa pa may ato ang ikuan, pangwaon to make papers and to make chairs and to make other things, no, that's made of um, of trees. How about those animal lives, no? Syempre katong mga animals kung naisunog, ang uban di na makadagan kay masuffocate, no? Or ang uban kay masunog jud or kanang ang uban, no, for example, no, dili na ta maka-create og such mga important things gama sa forest or gikan sa mga forest. Okay? So, we have here the types of natural cover fires. So, we have here the ground fires or the undergrowth or duff fires. So, ground fires travel at ground level or below the surface. Dry leaves, humus, peat, and other organic materials that have become part of the soil. So, again, remember the terminologies, no? Ground fires, again, below surface. Sa ubos siya. Okay? So we have here the surface fire. So it burns the overgrass, weeds, grain, bushes, and shrubs. This type of fire travels rapidly if the wind is high and when the fuel is abundant. No, kaya sinabi ko, uga ang mga dahon, init kayo. The heat is intense but short-lived because of the quick burning characteristic of the fuel. Siyempre, kanang dahon, pinaragoy og daw, anak good. Kadali ra na og dawon. Munang dali siya mukatay kasi nga, gamay ra ang fuel, and then mo connect naman na siya, mudagan ang kalayo. Okay? Sige, proceed. So we have also here the crown fires. So these are the tops of the trees and the high bushes. No, when the heat generated by flash fuels at the surface is intense, the fire advantages upward the dried lower limb of the trees and continues to burn the tree tops. No, makita ninyo nasunog na ang mga kaning mga trees, kaning mga dahon sa trees. Nakita ninyo mga kahoy sa ako ang screen, students? Still with me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so kani mga top trees mao ni mga sunog if ever naatay crown fires. No, crown meaning sa taas. So spot fires naman are started in advance of the heads by wind-blown sparks or bits of burning material. They are capable of creating a very dangerous situation. A number of spot fires may merge and create a new head in advance of the main fire. So spot fires, they are used or they are usually kanang mga nilupad ng mga kalayo, and then it will create burning, it will create fire, no? So it's very dangerous kasi nga syempre no, ikaw daw imbis na wala pa rin siya nasunog diri dapita ning lupad man ning kaning kalayo ni speakers, di katag na pud siya or ni katay. Okay? Okay, let's have the fire investigation. This chapter will point out the main features of the fire investigations. The fire investigation is by nature the basis of fire prevention program. Siyempre, dili ta makabalukon sa solution if wala tayo fire investigation program. So, if there is a fire, we investigate it, and the facts that we gathered from the investigating the fire should be uh, should be reliable and should be checked and should be stored. Kasi nga, we can use that, we can reuse those investigation methods na ating nagawa on that specific fire. Okay? So, only an in-depth analysis of what sequences of events enable a fire to start, enabled it to spread, and how and where it was controlled. No, for example, firefighting, structural design, lack of fuel can help prevent future fires. No, syempre, if nakabalo ta that when a specific building is for example a commercial building, no, the structure of the building is for example a mall, so kinakailangan the structure of that building itself should be fire resistant kasi nga maraming occupants. So if that specific building made of wood lang siya, dali lang siya nasunog, and then gi-investigate na to siya nga bantog dali siya nasunog kay made of wood lang da siya, and then dili siya fire resistant for how many hours niya, wala kayo siya fire exit, isa lang ang portahan. So we can use that one to prevent future fires, no? Makabalo na ta nga, sige, before makatukod og building, na kailangan kini siya nga building, daghan siya portahan, nga fire exit, na siya well ventilated nga mga windows, or na siya mga fire alarms, fire detectors, no? Additionally, fire investigation includes the observation of everyone involved at the fires themselves. There are many firefighters who will be able to shed light on the nature of the fire, its progress, and so forth. So, if ever there is a fire, no, when the arson investigation will try to investigate, mag-interview din siya ng mga firefighters natin. Uy, firefighter Kenneth, ano man yung nabantayan mo sa fire? ay kuan sir kining nabantayan ako sir kanang kusog kayo ang aso, itom kaayo siya sir, and then dali siya naugdaw kasi nga wala siya kanang fire resistant nga mga materials na gigamit sa building. So ana no. So you also have here na the four general classes of fire causes. Okay? So we have number one, no, the natural fire. Again, no, naturally caused siya without human. So usually mag-cause ng lightning, kidlat, spontaneous ignition, mechanical malfunction or equipment. Accidental fire naman usually involve ang human actions, no? For example, no, nagtinanga, careless disposal of katong upos sa sigarilyo, you also have here workers using welding cutting equipments na wala natanggal ang saksakanan. Okay? Arson fire naman, causes of a result of a willful and criminal action. No, usually yun, kanang mga criminal minds, no, si dilauban nimo ang balay ganahan kay ka magtan-aw, or gusto nimo dilaubon or sunugon ang kana siya nga specific nga building para makuha ang imong kuan. So, anong far naman, these are fars na wala ta kabaloon sa ang reason, no? Kasi hindi natin alam. Wala tayong ibang alam kasi nga unknown ang cause ng fire. So, we have here the three general classifications of fire. Innocent fire. So, natural and accidental causes. So, incendiary fire, example, arson cases, and the unknown fire, a fire no of unknown causes, example, natural and accidental causes. Now, we have here the persons who are responsible to examine and inspect the fire scene. Sino-sino sila? We have here the American settings, no? We have the fire marshal, fire chief, assistant chief of fire technical service, fire inspector responsible for the specific building, senior fire officer at the fire scene, photographer, utilities personnel, particularly electrician. So, sila yung mga basic na mga tao natin no, in the American settings. Amerika ha, nga mo nilang mag-check no, when there is fire. No? So, photographer provides complete coverage beginning with the picture during the firefighting operation, including exterior, interior, special features, circumstances, and activities of the investigators at work. Utilities personnel provide technical assistance, particularly as to the condition of the electrical circuits and appliances. There are fires, si photographer, di ba, golden rule, do not touch or alter anything unless photographed and documented. So, basically, no, kinakailangan natin ang help ni photographer dito, no? So that he'll be able to capture the before the aftermath of the fire, no? And those peculiarities if there is a fire. And syempre, yung utility personnels natin, no, hindi ibig sabihin na cleaners, no, or kanang mga magmap or magsilig, they are assigned to electrical circuits and appliances, mga linya sa mga kurente or mga wirings. They're going to check that one. So, thank you, congratulations, and enjoy the journey. This is the end of Creed 324 Fire Technology and Arson Investigation, and this is Miss Malaya teaching. That is the end of week 6 to 7, part 4. So that was the end of my presentation. Everybody know we have tackled two discussions for this afternoon, no, the part 3 and part 4. So that was a very long discussion. I hope you have incorporated it on your minds kahit na mataas-taas yun siya. But do not worry kasi I'll still have a recording. Again, no, it will be sent to you on the GC as well as a Quipper. And do not worry also because I will also send a PPT on your Quipper by this week. And please prepare kasi I will send to you your final requirements within this week. Okay? So that you'll be able to finalize it and send it to me, and then you'll be able just to wait for the finals, no? Malapit ang finals natin, March 17 at saka 18. So, for this week, our biggest activity or a major activity for this week is all about having your third examinations. This Friday, that's March 4, 2022. Same instructions, walang nagbago. But I will add some instructions to you later on this Wednesday na lang. Okay? So, do you have any questions or clarifications before we end the class for this afternoon? Kasi it's already 5:24 na. We have a minute left. May mga katanungan ba?
Wala na, ma'am.
Okay, sige. Very good. So, if you do not have any questions, please try to open your camera so that we can take our photo documentation for this afternoon. Okay, sige. Pakita na ang mga gwapo o gwapa nga mga litrato sa ako ang mga estudyante. Sige daw, Bing. Pakita ko sa inyo ang mga handsome and beautiful faces. Okay, sige. Ready na ang lahat? Sige. If you are ready, alright, on 3, 2, 1, everybody. Show us your widest smiles. Smile! Alright, everybody, thank you for attending this afternoon's class. I hope you've learned something from me. I will see you again on Wednesday. Goodbye, babush, paalam, and see you on Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Bye-bye! Huwag ka na leave po.
Bye, ma'am.
Sige po, bye-bye. Okay, sige.
Bye, Untal.
Okay.